there's a fetish for basically anything.
That's true.
You know, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm that freaky, I guess.
Dude, one of the shows I listened to, the producers, they didn't pressure her into it. They just kept made it as a joke to start an OnlyFans of just her feet because she wouldn't show her feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, oh, you can do OnlyFans. She started OnlyFans, and I heard she's making like $500,000 a year right now.
Yeah.
And no nudes.
Just her feet. So just pictures, like, ankle down. Dudes like that.
I don't understand that, though, like, because I would imagine there's so much competition on OnlyFans now. I don't understand how these girls even still make money.
I don't know either.
Every girl's
It's
on
their
that
fetish.
now.
Yeah. Well, you know, like, it's like, what was that? There was a movie, you know, and it's like, basically, you know, I'm a guy. I want to see everybody's tits. I don't care how old you are. You know what I mean? I don't care where they're at in life, you know, where they're hanging down to. You just want to see them anyways, you know?
Right, why not?
And I wonder, there must be people like that for feet. You know? Or they, you know, I don't know, I guess.
It's like midgets. I don't know what it is.
Small people.
You're
real offensive. You're the offensive one of the podcast.
Well, I'm not running around calling them trolls and shit, like, you know?
Oh my God, you're going to get us canceled, bro.
No, we're good. we're not famous enough to cancel. But I mean, I don't want to make love to a little person, but I want to see one naked. Like, I don't. It's weird to me.
Bridget
like,
the midget,
bro. Like, they have those thick little upper thighs, dude.
Little softball player
little
thighs.
Down syndrome booties. Like,
God, this guy.
Am I wrong though?
I'm just gonna.
Am I wrong?
I can't make comments. I'm white. I can't make comments like that. They ain't gonna go after you. They're gonna come after me. Well, you know it's true.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I can say I have little people friends.
Do you?
No. Don't believe anything this guy says. Well, after that, we'll go ahead and introduce Mr. Ramin from RX2 Law. We are here with the king himself.
Thanks for having me out, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to do this for a little while, so it's nice to finally get out here with you guys.
Definitely.
Last one of the year.
This is the last one of the year.
Yep.
Yep. You know, Ramin and RX2 has been a sponsor of ours for most of this year now.
Yeah.
We've been working together. We've done some group rides. We've done a bunch of different things. But one of our main reasons, I think, for having Ramin on the show is because I know I have questions. I know Lorenzo has questions. And I'm pretty sure people out there listening have questions that you're the guy to talk to answer. Because Lorenzo's been in an accident.
Yep.
I've been in an accident that did, you know, probably could have involved a lawyer, but we didn't, you know. But it's not just about necessarily accidents. There's even questions like I think about, like, how do people know if they're properly insured?
Right.
You know, then I think that's a really big question, you know, especially for some of the bikes people are riding that have so much work done to them and things like that. And being that you guys specify in motorcycle law,
right,
you're the people to talk to.
That's the biggest issue is the insurance, and everybody thinks they'll never go down. Everybody wants to save the most money possible, so they want to get the $15,000 policy, no uninsured motorist coverage. You've got to assume that everybody out there either has the same, a 15, or is uninsured in California.
And looking to kill you.
Right. No, I was just going to say, I can't tell you how many times I've had to give the families of death victims the news that says, hey, sorry that you lost your mother, your brother, your son, your daughter. Unfortunately, the defendant only has a $15,000 policy, or they have zero. They say, oh, well, let's just sue him. Well, if a person has a $15,000 policy, they don't have insurance, they're not going to have assets.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stuck. You know, there's not much you can do. And this uninsured motorist coverage, it adds literally, depending on what kind of coverage you get, $10 a month, $15 a month to your policy to get maybe $50,000 or $100,000 in uninsured motorist coverage. And that's probably the thing that I can stress the most to people is up your insurance, and that coverage is mandatory. You have to get it. You have to assume that if and when you get hit, the way that people are now on their cell phones all the time, and the car's not paying any attention, that person's going to have a 15, and you're going to need your insurance to kick in to step in the shoes of the at-fault person so you can get paid out.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's the craziest time I think we live in as far as distractions while driving. You know, totally. I mean, you drive around and I watch people, and you can, you know, it's pretty clear who's messing around a lot of times because they're just in the lane all over the place. The other day I was driving on the freeway on the 91 here, and there's a guy in a work van. I don't even know what company it was, but a work van driving in the carpool. Yep, there you go, carpool. And he's kind of like going slower than everybody else, of course, you know, because you got to go slower so you can pay attention to your phone and not what you're doing. And I look over, he's the only person in the van, and he's just literally driving like this, you know, and I just staring at his phone, and I pass him, and, you know, I hit a little bit of traffic, and I slow down, and he comes past me again. I look over, still doing the same thing. This is a 5-minute deal now. And I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. You know, it gets a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's so worried about, I don't know, about they're not getting any good emails, I'm sure. You know, like what is really happening that you're just having to sit there and stare at your shit so much?
It's just an addiction. Everyone's addicted to their phone. You know, this guy's in a company car too. You know, he hit someone, you're starting at $1 million, you know, going up. So
so that's the person to get hit by.
That unfortunately, that is the person to get hit by. Yeah.
I was excited for this. I'm excited for every podcast.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm sure there's like a lot of people who are just like me out there. When I started writing years ago, not like all my life, whatever. It was 2013, 2014. I started writing. Didn't know shit about shit. Just all I knew was I wanted to ride, and you know, it was just like he said. I had people
wanted some freedom, brother.
I had people telling me it's not if, it's when you go down. And I was like, oh, dude, no way.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, I got taken out. I was in it was a 2-lane road going one direction. And a truck. It was a crane company truck, and he was pulling a trailer. They pulled out of a parking lot, and they got in front of me in the lane. So then I was behind him, obviously, and then he changed in the right lane. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pass him up. So I started to go, and then a third lane opened up, and it's the turn lane. It's like the little island turn lane, you know.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that you know he got in the right lane, so he can do a U-turn.
Oh.
So I guess he didn't know I was there. He did the U-turn right in front of me. I caught the trailer, and there I went. Bike was stuck to the side of the trailer. Like, he didn't know he hit me.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of times with the trailer, they don't know. And they pull out of the gas station, you know, 5 miles away, and then they see something on the trailer. Yeah. So it's like a fly hitting a car.
Yeah. Yep. Had no idea. I had a flash knockout when I hit the ground. Woke up, like, as soon as I hit the ground, you know, I was... or rolled over. I don't even know how it went. I have video of it too.
Yeah.
There was security camera footage of it.
Oh, wow.
And I got up, and I remember the only thing I really remember was standing up thinking, oh shit, my back's not broken. And I took a step because I saw the truck taking off. So I started yelling, and I was going to chase him, and I realized, oh, my foot's broken again. So I was like, okay. And then I didn't think of anything, you know, I didn't know what was going to happen with insurance. Like, you know, obviously I knew it wasn't my fault because the guy turned in front of me.
Right.
You know, so I'm thinking everything's going to play out right. But then all of a sudden I'm in an ambulance, and then I actually didn't take the ambulance right to the hospital. I begged my way out of there pretty much. It was just a broken foot. I mean, my knee was fucked up. But I wanted to make sure my bike got taken back to the house, not to a junkyard. So then I had my friend take me to the hospital, and then I stayed there all day because they thought my hip was broken. I was going through x-rays. And then I was there all day. I was fucked up. And then I take off, and I'm thinking, I don't even know what's going on with my insurance, this and that. I'm thinking this guy's insurance is going to pay for it. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we don't want to pay for all of a sudden the crane company doesn't want to pay for anything. Like, they want to do this big old fight, I guess. Yeah. So,
because they have more money than you.
I mean,
to fight it. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
So I ended up getting a lawyer. Like, I just went on. I didn't know anything about motorcycle lawyers or anything like that. This is back in, I think, 2015. And I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna look on Facebook, and it's like, oh, this guy has some good reviews, whatever. And it ended up backfiring because I don't want to say it backfired, but I met up with him a couple days later, went over all the stuff of what I could remember, and then he was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. He was like, I want you to go get an MRI, go do all this stuff, go see my doctor. He was like, my doctor will take care of this, 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 and this. And then, so I was like, okay. And he was like, okay. Well, then they said, well, you got to go to chiropractor 2 times a week because your spine's all fucked up, this and that. I'm like, dude, that's work. And he was like, oh, don't worry, we're going to get your work taken care of, like blah, 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 this and that. And I was like, all right. And then not thinking, you know, this is not his real specialty.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm just like, all right, I'm just taking his word because it's a lawyer. And then I ended up going for a year, and then finally, like, the doctor that had me seeing, like, just disappeared. He was like, I don't know where he went, man. It was like it was a practice in, you know, Eastside El Cajon. And he was just like, yeah, I think he retired. He was like, he's just not there anymore. I don't know what to do. I was like, well, I just wanted this all to stop, because he started telling me, well, there's security camera footage, because they asked me how fast we were going. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember I just took off from a light, so I couldn't have been going that fast. So I'm thinking the speed limit there is 45. So I'm like, I assume 45. So then the video footage, he was like, well, we're going to have to get they want to settle. They want to give you like $3,000. I had I think like $17,000 in medical bills, and the bike was totaled, but I bought the bike back, and this and that. And so my insurance took care of that stuff, whatever. But I don't know what the issue was with my medical. I don't understand why I had to pay for that. So the lawyer wasn't, giving me like he wasn't talking to me about anything. He was just like, just do this. We'll take care of this. And then he started to panic a little bit, and he was like, well, I'm going to have to pay for someone to come out there and look at the video and then measure your skid, the pictures in the skid, determine how fast you're going. He's like, if you're going fast on 45, we're not going to win this case, and you're going to owe me all this money. You're going to have to pay for this. You have to pay all your medical bills out of pocket. And I was like, well, my medical bills wouldn't have been that big if you know what I mean? If you didn't tell me to go here.
Coax
like,
you to go do something, yeah.
And I was on top of, because every chiropractor session, it was like, first it started out 3 times a week, then it was down to 2, then it was down to 1 for a whole year.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, that's at least an hour and a half, 2 hours I'm missing a day, per week.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, this just has to stop. Like, I want to get out of this so they cover my bills. And he's like, well, we only want to give you like $3,000, And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I was like, I just want to break even. So I was like, okay. He was like, so I went and talked or whatever. And if we squash all this, then, we'll break even. We'll cover my tab. We'll cover your medical bills and stuff like that. And you'd be like, I never got reimbursed for the time I missed at work, et cetera, this and that. And I just felt like I wasn't dealing with somebody who knew what they were really doing. And then I still have back problems from it, but I think I signed a paper saying I can't go back and try and get something for help from that company.
Yeah.
But even though, I mean, it's hard to say. I thought it was cut and dry, because there's security footage like clear as day where he changes lanes.
Yeah.
And then does a U-turn right in front of me. And
it should have been. And when you're explaining it to me, I thought liability sounds totally clear. A left turn or a U-turn, an unsafe left turn or U-turn, that's cut and dry.
Yeah.
That's liability's clear. It's on the other party. Commercial carrier, they're starting at $1 million with their policy. Broken ankle. You said broken ankle?
Broken foot.
The case starts at $100,000.
See, he told me when my foot, because I had actually broken my foot in January. Mm-hmm. January 1st. I had broken my foot and some toes, and then when they did the X-ray, they can still see the cracks and breaks still healing,
right,
with the new breaks.
So it exacerbated the existing injury. It made it worse.
See, I know that. He told me, he was like, well, because he said the way they explained it to me was, and it sounds kind of fucked up thinking about it now. He was like, we get more money the more serious your injuries are. He was like, you only have a broken foot, and then they can say that it was broken before because you can see the old breaks and cracks healing and stuff like that. He was like, so that's kind of out the window. So we're just going to try and get this and that. And I was like, all right, fuck.
I mean, a $3,000 offer is on the shittiest soft tissue case. You get hit at 5 miles an hour.
And got a little road rash.
You got the neck brace, how they have in the movies, like those guys. You got a $100,000 plus case, in my opinion. I don't know all the facts, just kind of based on what you told me right here. But what we would do in that situation is, we'd get the video. I'm sure there was a police report.
There was. It took. I mean, the whole thing took forever, but the police report took almost 2 months to get.
But did the police report not determine liability? Didn't it say?
Yeah, no. It said he was, but they were saying, the crane company was saying that, or the insurance company was saying I was speeding, so I was at fault for speeding. Even though, and
did it say that in the police report?
No.
No, so I mean, this is again, I don't know who your lawyer was.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me who it was, but it just doesn't sound like he knew what he was doing at all, and he didn't do a proper job, because that case is cut and dry. And a broken foot is a big injury. Any kind of broken bone, it's a big injury.
Fuck.
So what we do differently is when I get someone that comes in, first of all, we handle car accidents too, all types of personal injury cases, but probably 80+% of our cases are motorcycle. So. And we work with really good, reputable doctors. So, he sent you into doctors that you probably signed a lien for, saying we're going to pay you at the end of the case. So what we do is we'll get you in to see our docs. We have our people see orthopedic specialists, never chiropractors. I'll only use a chiropractor if it's, deep in the heart of Victorville and I can't find like anyone else, Yep. Then, and if there's no physical therapists and if there's no other good doctors, but we use those kind of guys, and then we'll send out to any specialists if we need to. You kind of work up the case to make sure that the client gets back to 100% or as close to 100%. You're saying 5 years later, 7 years later, you still have back injuries or back pain, yep. So, and you sign the release. So yeah, exactly. You can't go back at this point. So you wait till 100% better, all the bills, all the records, put those all together, and then demand the case. Hopefully you're able to settle the case with the insurance company pre-litigation. If they act up like it sounds like they did here, then you file the case. You don't be a lazy asshole and say, hey, just because it's going to take a little bit more work, I'm going to have to hire an expert to go out and look at the video and spend $5,000. Let's just settle it so I get paid and then you are just free and clear of this. That's not fair, because I can guarantee you the doctors got paid and he got paid and you got nothing. So at the end of the day, if you have to file a lawsuit, you file the lawsuit, and that's what you do. You don't just try to say, let me get what I can get, and the client just goes away with nothing, sign the release. And at that point, it sounded like you were kind of frantic in that, like, hey, I don't want to end up with all of these bills. I don't want to end up like having all this debt from this thing. I just want to be free and clear of it. So he kind of took advantage of that to get you to sign the release and to wrap it up at a point where it probably should have been a case that was filed if the insurance company wasn't paying properly on it, wasn't accepting liability.
I definitely felt like I got finessed at the end because, when I went and talked to him originally, I mean, I even think like car salesmen are like good, honest guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then
they're not.
Yeah, they're not for sure. So, everyone says that about lawyers, you know what I mean? Like lawyers are scumbags and that. And I was like, oh, this guy's like real nice. Like, and when I talked to him, he got me hyped up and he was like, oh yeah, dude. Cause when I talked to him originally, when I called him, I was like, hey, I don't know what to do. That's literally what I said. I was blind. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my options are.
Most people know what to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's, you don't think like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was just like a fluke where I was just like, I wonder if I can even, because right away I started panicking because I was there all day. They pumped me with some morphine, and then I knew x-rays were expensive. And I was like, dude, I'm going to be on the hook for this. I was like, I'm going to need some help. And I was like, so, pre-GoFundMe. So I just, that's why I just reached out, and he was like, oh yeah, we got a case, this and that, and he was like, you should have done this and this and this. And then I was like, yeah, he's right. I should have. And then it seemed like he was genuinely trying to help me. And then towards the end, and every time I never pressured him, and I wouldn't hear from him for the longest time, and then I would just check. I was like, is everything cool? Like, not trying to pressure him or anything like that. I was like, everything cool? Should I still be doing this? He was like, yeah, keep going. And then when he reached out and was like, hey, I know you had a doctor's appointment, but my doctor's missing. And then things just started to fall apart. And I was just like, I don't know if this is. And then he was just like, well, then now we got to call and call these hospitals and ask them if they can get these things lowered. And we were trying to get my due amount, I guess, my bill.
Yeah.
Lowered,
So he was like, you can call and this and that. And I was just like, all right.
See, that's not on you. That's where probably at least 40 or 50% of the work is at the end, is we get the settlement. It's the lawyer's responsibility to do all the reductions. So all those lien doctors they sent you to, they should get those cut in half or less. Anything you had from the hospital, you need to negotiate and try to get that waived or try to get that paid as low as possible. So, a lot of these lawyers are like, hey, go get your own records, go get your own bills, you send those to us. Hey, work on your own reductions. Here's a settlement. Go take care of it yourself now. That's not right. I mean, that's all the lawyer's job. Your only job if you get into an accident and if you hire a lawyer is to go to your doctor's appointments, not miss appointments, and to get better. When you miss appointments, there's gaps in treatment. The insurance company jumps on that, and they use that to say, well, hey, if you're really injured, why did it take you 3 weeks to get back into the doctor? Why didn't you go to the doctor until 2 months after you got a lawyer? It doesn't look good. And it's bad for not just your financial recovery, but more important, your physical recovery. If you're hurt, you got to get in soon.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a good lawyer that's got connections to good doctors that can see you soon, then it's going to hurt your case. And again, more importantly, like I said, it's going to hurt your health and your physical recovery.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I still got knee problems. I still got back problems, and I think that was like where, like I said, I was younger, what I mean? So I felt like my body would bounce back, but like when it gets cold, like if I get up too fast, like it's excruciating.
Too many blizzards.
Yeah. It gets fucked up. And I think, man, I was like thinking back, or now I'm just like, fuck, I wish I really would have taken care of this. I would like to get it taken care of now, but I understand it's going to come out of pocket and this and that, you know, so I put it off. But I mean, after that experience, you know, with my last 2 bikes, I've gone through my insurance and I start talking. I talk more to my insurance agents, you know, like, what do you recommend? And then, you know, and they'll be honest, you know, they start high, you know what I mean? And they explain to me the different coverages that we have and the different mounts, you know, that they have. And I'm a little bit more savvy to it and just, and I understand, like, it's like he said, it was, you know, $10-15 more. It's worth it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've had guys where I got them 15 on their first case because the at-fault party only had 15 and they had no UM. And, you know, it's motorcycle riding. So I have repeat clients because it's dangerous. It's inherently dangerous because of all of these people
especially
not paying
where
attention.
We live.
Yeah. So, and I've got them 250 or 500 on the second case because they got that UM. And then they tell their friends, and some of them start getting it too. And it just saves the day all the time.
Oh, 100%.
Well, I have a friend who was in an accident, and they actually did a lawsuit against his insurance company because they underpaid him. So he ended up getting a good payout at the end. 'Cause, yeah, he got you know who he Matt.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting paid out, and I was just like, how does that happen? Like, why is the insurance company gypping him? But it's stuff that I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just know what I'm.
It
I'm
is
covered
very
for,
confusing,
like,
you know, and it's probably something they should. I guess people should have access to learning more, or you know, I don't know, some kind of classes for it, because it is confusing. And like you said, people are just looking to save some money, and that's, you know, pretty normal, because I'm sure I didn't have the proper insurance up until later on in life, you know. Even now, you know, some of these bikes that I've built and I ride, I get worried because I don't know what my insurance, and I probably need to check on this, but like how much over the bike value am I insured for when I've done all this work to the bike?
Right.
You know, so if something happens to this bike and they're not going to pay me out a really nice check for the bike, I'm you know, way behind now. So
when it comes to the bike, I'm not. I mean, my bikes aren't.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's all relative. You know, like whether it's, you know, for accidents and bodily injuries, or to the personal property itself.
Right.
Because, you know, like when I crashed. I was going down the street going like 35 miles an hour, and some lady just pulled out of her apartment complex. And so my option was lay the bike down or hit her. So I chose to lay the bike down. Slid, didn't ever touched her car or anything, but almost, you know, slid kind of like right to her, you know, basically. And then she kind of tried to drive off. And I'm like, no. This is all your fault right now. You did this just now. I want your insurance information, your driver's license. And I luckily, you know, for some reason took pictures of everything. And I could see the police department from where I was. And I called them. They're like, is anybody hurt? And I'm all, no, I just got a little road rash. And they're like, well, we ain't come out then. So there was no police report. There was nothing. There was my pictures and the information I gathered from her. And then I contacted my insurance company, blah, 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 blah. Her insurance company contacted me at that point, you know, a little bit down the road, and saying, yeah, she said you were speeding and it's not her fault. And I said, well, I have all these pictures. You want me to send them to you? She's like, yes. And just like you said, just from the skid mark that I did and the distance of where I slid, they knew I wasn't speeding. And then her own insurance company sided with me.
Well, that's,
you know?
that's surprising, and that's great to hear that they did the right thing. Because
they did.
Usually, you know, I would say a couple of things that you just brought up are important. Always try to get a police report. Without the police report, it's very tough.
I thought that was weird too, because I told them that. I said, I need a police report. They're like, yeah, we're not coming out.
And they're doing that more and more. They say if nobody's injured, we won't make a police report. I've had guys call me from the scene and say, hey, I say, are you hurt? I say, I'm in a little bit of pain, but I'm probably okay. I say, no, tell them that you're in pain. Get the police report. Otherwise, they're not going to come out. They're not going to make a report. And it's going to be a he said, she said situation.
Yeah.
Another thing is, I always tell people never, ever give a statement to the at-fault party or the other party's insurance. To your own insurance, it's fine. They're going to have your back usually.
Yep.
But the other party's insurance, their job is to try to pretend that they're being really nice.
Yeah.
To get a statement from you that's kind of, they're going to use it to conflict your story later on.
Yep.
And then to pay you as little as possible or deny the claim. So it's lucky in your situation they did the right thing.
Yeah.
One other thing that I was going to mention when we were talking about insurance is so many people these days, even, you know, I just found out the other day, one of my sponsored riders told me he didn't have insurance. I was like, what are you doing? And if you don't have insurance, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you get in an accident and you don't have insurance, there's something in California called Proposition 213, where you're not able to recover pain and suffering damages. You're only able to recover your medical expenses. So just whatever gets paid to the hospital, that goes to them. You get nothing at the end of the day. So say you're paralyzed or you have a brain injury and you get hit by an 18-wheeler, but you don't have insurance, your medical bills will get paid, and you won't end up with anything.
Wow.
So just,
even though it's not your fault.
Even though it's not your fault.
Wow.
The only situation where that doesn't apply is if the person that hit you was committing a crime. So say that happened to you and the person was drinking and driving, right. Then there's no Prop 213 and you can recover. But that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
So not having insurance is awful. You need to have the insurance. And the most important thing, as long as you have insurance, is to get that coverage. I stress that to everyone so much.
Yeah.
It's mandatory, in my opinion. It's not by law, but you if you're riding a motorcycle, you need to get that. Car too, anything.
Yeah, and I'm listening to your story, Lorenzo, about how your lawyer kind of sounds like he shit on you or whatever, and it makes me think though, because you see a lot of people, they're always kind of like, oh, lawyer's not going to help you out at all, and it almost feels like it's because of situations like this where you got a lawyer, he kind of fucked up everything, you know what I mean? It sounds like, and gave you a bad taste in your mouth, and I'm sure, word of mouth then travels to other people, and other people's experiences have that same kind of taste, right? And it seems like with just the information we're gathering from you, it's a totally different story out there.
It just depends on the lawyer that you get, and I'm not saying that I'm the only one. There are good lawyers out there, but a lot of the jokes are there for a reason, right? A lot of lawyers are assholes. A lot of lawyers are dishonest. Mm-hmm. I've met a lot of those guys, and even just like in your situation, when you were telling me like you just were breaking even, and the lawyer's getting his 1/3. I'm sure the doctor's getting something. That never happens at my firm. I will never ever get more than the client gets. The worst case scenario we usually do is a 1/3 split. 1/3 for the client, 1/3 for the medical providers, 1/3 for the attorneys. But I see this all the time with people complaining online on Facebook or on different blogs and stuff like that. Yeah, I had a case. It settled for $100,000. The lawyer took $40,000. The meds were another, $66,000. I ended up with $3,000, and that's not fair. That's not how it should be. I'll always reduce my fees to make sure that the client ends up with more than me.
Yeah.
And it's just not like that with a lot of these guys. They just want to get paid and make you feel lucky that you're not ending up with a mountain of debt, and that's really not how it should be.
Yeah.
I felt like this lawyer kind of checked out. So when I told him, because when I talked to him over the phone, I told him what injuries I had. I had the broken foot. And we weren't totally sure what was about. My back was just thrashed. Like, it was weird. And then my knee, so then I definitely had knee problems really bad for a year. Where I think it was like 6 months later, we went for MRI. But I think he pushed me to go do that more because he was on board when I told him I had a broken foot. He lit up. And then when the doctors came back with the X-rays saying, there's previous breaks, there's still some old stuff going on there, whatever, he checked out. When he felt like I said, he kind of shit on it after that. He was just like, well, I remember him telling me that he just got done with the car accident case where the passenger ended up breaking their hand in the accident. He told him, he's like, yeah, I got $150,000 for them or whatever, just on a broken hand. You got a broken foot. And then once he kind of, and I remember this all going down because I just remember thinking like, what the fuck happened here? Because when the X-rays came back, he was like, we didn't tell me you had a broken foot before. And I was like, yeah, because I think my accident was in March and my broken foot was January 1st. I was like, I didn't know my foot was broken still, man. Like, I've been walking around on it, for since towards the end of January. So I was like, I didn't know that affected. I know my foot was still broken, and to be honest with you, I didn't even go to the doctors. To have I just knew my foot was, when your foot swells up and it's fucked up like that is, it's broken. And so he was just like, he was like, it's not going to look good. He's like, we're kind of, stuck in the water now. So we'll see, what else happens. So then that's why he kind of pushed the knee, and then the knee came back with no like structural damage and stuff like that. No torn ACLs and stuff like that. And then we didn't know about the video. The surveillance video, I guess the other insurance company had it. So then in the last couple of weeks.
So they went after and got the video.
They had the video for a while. They knew. That's why they kept on fighting. We never knew there was a video. I went to the because it's a major company that had the camera or the security footage, and they wouldn't let me see it.
Fucking 7-Eleven.
No, I wish. But so they had it, and they kept on saying like, well, we have surveillance video and it's showing this and this. So they weren't showing. So finally, like towards the end, it was like the last like couple of weeks, they sent it over, and then that's when he was kind of just like, whatever. Like he just wanted to get his money and get out because he knew he had bigger fish to fry.
It's a trip how scandalous people want to be. It's like, I guess it's like human nature.
I just feel like it wasn't his cup of tea. I didn't know about. Now I see him all the time because we've been in this ride for years now. Yep. We see a lot of stuff, so I didn't know there was things like RX2 that like are specifically designed for this. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to take a Porsche to a Ford dealership to have it worked on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I definitely paid for it. I mean, and yeah, it's a fucking bummer. Like when I see the billboards for all these different motorcycle lawyers, I'm like, where the fuck were you? And
it's become a bigger thing recently too.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing more and more of them out there. But just like for example, that guy. You would never refer someone to him in the future. I mean, it's like you walked out of there with a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
I try to make sure everybody walks away, they're not always going to walk away happy, but knowing that I've done everything I can for them. Even if I have to drop a case, I'll do everything I can to show them, hey, this is why we had to drop the case.
Yeah.
You were at fault. You didn't have insurance. You don't have an injury or something. I'll show them, hey, and I'll say, hey, you don't owe me a penny. Since I wasn't able to do something for you, you're welcome to take the case to someone else and see if they can help you out. And I've had guys that I dropped, or I've had cases that I've turned down where they've referred me cases in the future.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. I'll spend an hour on the phone with someone trying to help them out if I can. Because I've had those guys refer me cases down the road and say, hey, he wasn't able to take my case, but he took like 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever of his time to talk to me and make me realize what the steps are and what I should do if I'm going to try to handle it on my own.
Just to teach somebody, because that's the hardest part.
Totally.
None of us know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And nobody does. It's all new. Most of the time.
I still don't go to the doctor.
Same.
I won't go to the doctor unless I'm basically can't walk or something, because I don't like that kind of stuff. When I mean, again, all I knew that I had was road rash. I mean, but I'm not going to go to the doctor for road rash. I went and picked the fucking rocks out of my arm, bent some shit back on my bike, and still went riding that same day,
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is.
Well, and then Lorenzo had mentioned something earlier, like he was younger at the time, and a lot of riders are young. They start when they're young. The tendency is to try to kind of tough it out, right, and say, hey, I'm going to get better. Like you said, you picked the stuff out of your arm and you kept riding, and then but the problem with that is if you're in a lot of pain, then a week or two later, then you go to the ER. Then again, the insurance company's going to say, hey, Steve, if you were really hurt, why did it take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month to go get seen? And then say you do go get seen in a month and the MRI shows something else out there, they're going to say, well, how do we know you didn't hurt yourself doing something else in the last 30 days? How do we know this is, correlated to the accident?
Can we use that excuse? So they say my grandpa told me to be a man. Remember when you get hurt, your grandpa just like, man up.
Just walk it off.
Yeah, walk it off.
Put some Robitussin on it.
Yup. And that's our generation though. Realistically, like when we would get hurt as a kid or something, walk it off. Man up. Like don't. You're not gonna go lay down or take a nap or whatever.
Right.
When I was a kid, I think I was 7 or so. I broke my arm. Like I broke my elbow right here in this arm, in the grass in my front yard.
What the fuck?
I didn't go to the doctor for a week. That was just the way it was. You know what I mean? It's like, you're fine. You probably just sprained it. Yeah. You know what I mean? We go to a week later, we finally go to the doctor because it's like my arm's all fucked up, And you broke your elbow.
You got a fucking noodle arm for a week.
And that's why my arm don't go straight no more. But that's just the way it is, right? So it's hard because even now, I mean, I'm gonna. If something happens now, I'm waiting a few days because I think I'll be all right. Mm-hmm. But realistically, like you said, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be going to the doctor right away. You should, because if you do have a case, you're going to get, I see how they can play those cards and be like, nope, who knows what else you were doing for those 2 weeks.
Right. I mean, and we have an app for RX2 as well. Yep. And on there's kind of like a list of things to do if you get in an accident. But I would say like just a really quick list is, get the police report. If you can, take pictures. Like if you can at the scene, see if there's any witnesses. I'm saying this if you feel like you're not at fault. Go to
Get the app.
Go to the emergency room or to the hospital the same day or the next day if you can. You know, if you're injured. I'm not saying to create an injury, but if you're injured, you know, especially on the bike, if you go down, usually you are going to have some kind of injury.
Yep.
And then I would say most of the time hire an attorney, because even sometimes people are like, well, I'm just going to handle it on my own. I don't want to pay the attorney a third of the fee if I get something done on this. But the reality is, I'd say 99% of the time, even considering the attorney's fees, you're going to end up with more. The insurance company loves, if you're unrepresented, they'll try to give you $100 or $500 or $1,000 and say, sign the release right now and get you done. But if there are cases sometimes where a client does need an attorney, they call me and say, hey, I've got a broken leg. The at-fault party has a $15,000 policy. I'll say, you don't need me. Your case is worth $150,000 right now. They'll pay you directly. Why would you give $5,000 of the $15,000 to me? You should go and you should do it on your own.
Yeah.
I don't think most lawyers would do that, but we do that because I don't want to take advantage of anyone, especially if you broke your leg and you're going to be out of work or you're going to be laid up for all this time. You need every penny of that $15,000.
Yeah.
And hire an attorney or at least consult with an attorney and even a couple of attorneys sometimes, you know, talk to a few. Kind of lawyers are like doctors. You want to be comfortable with whoever you're dealing with. Like you were saying, your guy never reached out to you, right? Mm-hmm. My staff knows we have to reach out to every single client every 2 weeks. I have it on their calendar. Every case gets touched. More than that, cases are getting touched, but the clients get contacted every 2 weeks so that if there are any problems, if the clients are worried about anything, we're figuring it out. If there's any issues with treatment, we're figuring it out, and there's no more than like a 2-week gap in between that. So you want to make sure you're comfortable to call your attorney. And most of my clients have my cell phone number. They reach out to me nights, weekends. Sometimes it gets a little bit annoying.
Oh, yeah.
You know, taking calls when I'm out with my family, you know, but I'll pick up the phone. Yeah. I'll walk outside and I'll talk to them. And, you know, I think that's why the majority of our cases are all word of mouth. They're all from prior clients and from people that have heard about us and understand that we do things really differently.
Yeah. Well, I think that means a lot. You know, when you feel... When lawyers in general have that reputation like we discussed, you know, and then you pick one up and you feel like you're actually being taken care of. You feel, you know, and anybody can, I guess, fake that too, right? You can, as long as they're contacting you stuff, but having that feeling that like things are, you know, you're available, they're talking to you personally, not your assistant, they're calling you direct, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's a big deal for people.
You know, you know, I was going to say too, I see these other I mean, obviously I'm a homer because, you know, he's on the team, we're on the team, but I see Ramin at the events.
Yeah.
I see him out there. He's not sending, you know, bitch or women out there, you know, in short shorts, just them, you know what I mean? He's there.
They come, but I come as well.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. Like he's there doing the legwork, like himself, you know what I mean? Like the last ride that I did with you guys, I saw him here in the parking lot. And then I saw him in Julian.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like most people, like I feel like, you know, a lot of guys when they're bosses, you know what I mean? Like they don't got time for that shit.
Yep.
But you know, I see him on the ground. Like I see him everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
I make the time for it. You know, and at least half of the weekends in the year, I'm doing events. So you know, I can't go on vacation with my girl. I can't do things with my family, like you know, stuff like that. But it's important to me while I'm growing this business and moving forward too, not just during the growth phase, is to be accessible to people and people to like know my face and say, hey, I met him at an event. Oh, you know, I talked to him for a little bit. Oh, I had a drink with him, or he bought me some food and we chatted for a little bit. Yeah. And to know that, you know, like there's an actual one-on-one connection, not just, hey, here's a free keychain that I got from, you know, this chick at this booth. Yep. You know, which, you know, I go to probably 90% of any event that we have our name on, and the only times I don't is if I have some kind of pre-existing conflict or something that comes up last minute. So I always try to come out there, and you know, it's important for me to meet people and also to see former clients as well and to see them doing better. Yep. It's important to me. It's nice.
Go ahead.
The big deal about that to me, because I've worked with other sponsors and things like that, right? I've had events where and I won't name names, but the girl, like you said, they're just sending the girl out, right? And for the event. And the chick that was out there was so hungover from the night before, she was, no joke, sleeping in the booth during the event, just rolled up in a blanket. And I'm like, you know, wow, you know, but not only that, just being able to go to an event and you're there, and that person or people that are interested or may, you know, just curiosity strikes people to talk to somebody like you, right? And they can actually discuss things direct with you right then and there, and not just have a girl give them a keychain and, well, I have questions. Oh, well, just call the number. I think that means a lot personally.
Right.
It's a totally different vibe, and you're doing something different, to reach out to the community, because we all know the motorcycle community is very small, and to have somebody that has the community's back in that way, where they're a part of the event, there to discuss little issues. Oh, I just wrecked last night. What should I do? Or I wrecked last year. What should I have done differently? And you're there to talk to.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot.
Right. And I mean, through the app as well, we've got a call, email, or chat your lawyer. And I've got services that want to be the front line on that. I'm the front line on all of that. Like if you call the 800-500-4RX2 number, it goes to me first. I don't always get it. Yep. I got one this morning and I took care of him, but I'm not always going to get it. And then it'll go to a service second, but I try to be the first person that you can actually talk to. So if you call those numbers or you use those chats, I try to be the one that gets it. And again, I'm not always going to, but if I don't and it goes to the service, they're going to take care of you, or they're going to send me a message, and it's never going to be more than a couple hours before we get back to you.
That's awesome. And the app's super easy to use, and you can download it on Google App Store and what is it? What's Apple's App Store? The App Store?
Yeah.
Apple and Google. It's super easy to use. 3 buttons.
The iOS store?
Yeah, iOS. I don't know. I have Apple. I don't know what it is.
You have it up there. So we wanted to make something different. A lot of these law firms have put your insurance information in, tow truck, medical history, blah, 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 blah. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go put in all that information. This is kind of just meant to be a bat line. The only things that you need: call, chat, email.
Yep.
Basically, contact someone as soon as you need to.
You could literally be laying on the floor still.
I've had people calling me from the floor, and I'm telling them what to do. Make sure the cops come out.
Yep.
Make sure that you see if there's any witnesses around, if you're able to.
Yep.
And call me when you get out of the hospital, and we'll talk about the next steps.
Wow. It's definitely a lot of people will say, well, I know what to do. When I'm in an accident, until you've been flipped over a trailer, and. I feel like I do pretty good under pressure, in intense situations like that. I remember actually, I called. The first thing I did right away was call my friends, or I sent a mass text out like, hey, I just got fucked up. I don't know what's going on, but I know I need help.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So right away, one of my brothers came down, and I kind of felt like everyone when I told everybody this dude hit me, and the first thing he did when he stopped. He was like, I didn't even see you. I didn't even hear you. I had fucking short shots on my Dyna. How do you not fucking hear that,
Maybe he was listening to Sabbath, bro.
I think he had to have been on his phone. He was a younger cat.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I wasn't mad. When I think I was just so grateful I wasn't fucking dead.
Oh, yeah.
Or just completely broken. So I was just like, I even asked him, I was like, you're right. You know what I mean? And he kind of had just like this, fuck, I fucked up. Like, he's like, I'm sorry I didn't see you, this and that. He's like, I didn't know I hit anything until he started yelling at me. And then, when my brother showed up, and then everything was cool. Actually, my daddy, my stepdad was passing by, and random as fuck. Him and his riding buddy. So they stopped. They called 911. And then when my brother showed up, like I said, everything was under control. And then all of a sudden, my fucking hothead brother comes over and starts lumping up the fucking driver. So I'm like, you got to go, dude. The fucking cops are coming. Like, I was like, why are you mad? They're more mad than me. Like, I was like, fuck, dude. But even then, like, like I said, the ambulance came. I was like, dude, I know my foot's broken. If you take off my shoe, like, my foot's going to swell up. I'll just go to the doctor's myself, because right away I'm thinking, fuck, here's more money, this ambulance ride,
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. I just knew get his insurance, driver's license, you know what I mean? And then deal with it later, But then if I would have had something like the app, fuck.
Yeah, forget about it.
You know what I mean? Because when I talked to the lawyer the next day, I felt more fucked up I'm telling you, my whole back down to the bottom of my flat ass it looked like it was dead.
Oh, yeah.
I looked like
that's how it is.
zombie flesh.
The day of, your adrenaline's rushing,
yep,
right? And then
100%.
the next day is when it's usually a lot worse, the next couple days.
Yeah, so I talked to the lawyer, you know what I mean? And, that's when he was like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have taken the ride, always do this. And I felt like he was giving me, and I still do, I still feel like it's because when I see my friends in accidents and stuff like that, I tell them, this is what the lawyer told me. I was like, do this, you know what I mean? And then I tell them, go to the hospital now because that whiplash is going to pop up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the day, you know what I mean? You don't feel it now, but I'm telling you, you're gonna be fucked up tomorrow. I was like, go get ahead of it right now. Like, go do this and that. And then, talk to somebody, get it taken care of.
Yeah.
But I would have never have known if, what I mean? Like when I see this stuff, I tell you, I get super bummed because it was really fucked up when the whole thing totaled bike. People get it way worse than what I had.
Yep.
I got lucky. I got super lucky because it could have been way worse because I actually caught the back end of the trailer. I think I still have the video. I'll show you guys. I caught the back end of the trailer where it's a piece of angle iron that hangs off where the turn signal hangs off of it.
Yep.
It stabbed my gas tank right in front of my knee.
Jeez.
And so it missed taking my whole leg off.
Yep.
But like I said, the bike was totaled. I got fucked up, and I had no idea. I felt like I should have been compensated a little bit more.
It sounds like it.
It was just I think I was just more bummed all the work that I missed for a year. You know what I mean? Like
and that's all stuff you should have been compensated for too. So that there's your bodily injury. There's going to be your medical expenses.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be your out-of-pocket expenses, and then a big one is a loss of earnings. So that's something that your lawyer should have looked into as well. All the time that you had to miss for the chiro appointments, all the time you had to miss going to doctors, anything like that, they should get a statement from your HR. If you're not self-employed, if you have an HR department, and show the amount of time you had to take off for personal time or the amount of time that you weren't paid because you had to go to these appointments, and that should all be factored in as well.
Yeah. See, I had no idea. He didn't even tell me to get.
Oh yeah.
I would just tell him. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna be gone for 2 hours. I don't know if you're logging this or whatever. I would have never have known to.
Well, that's why I feel that this conversation is so important.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to get you on the show, for so long too, because there's so much stuff that none of us know. Not only is the lack of insurance a big issue, but all the steps that take place or need to take place during the process. It's kind of a big deal. Especially to make sure you're getting compensated for all your missed time at work, all that kind of stuff. Like this can make people go broke.
100%. And if you don't have the right guy helping you out, and I'm not saying I'm the only guy,
Yeah.
I'm the right guy always. I think that I'm good. There are a lot of other good guys out there, but there are also a lot of bad guys in personal injury. I think this area of law kind of does attract a bit of a different crowd as well, where you don't have people that know what they're doing. You do have a lot of guys that are, that personify that ambulance chaser kind of bad stigma that you kind of hear about personal injury guys. A really good tool, and this isn't a plug for me. This is a plug for a site. It's called avvo.com, avvo.com. It's a great independent attorney rating and monitoring service. You can go on there, and I even use it sometimes. If I get calls in a state that I'm not licensed in and I'm trying to help someone out, I'll go on Avvo, and you can say, hey, personal injury or motorcycle accident in Boise, Idaho. And you want to look for someone on Avvo that is a 10 out of 10 rating, that's got lots of client reviews, a couple hundred client reviews at least. And so you can read about people's experiences with them, because these all have to be verified as former clients. And it's a way of really vetting someone out. And I would always go around there and poke around and talk to a couple different guys that are 10 out of 10 rating before you choose somebody. Because if you just go, and you should go look up the guy that you had on there.
I know. I was just thinking about this.
And see what his rating is, and see what people are saying about him, because it's probably not very good.
Yeah.
Because people that actually care about their reputation and care about their clients, I ask all of my clients once I'm done to go and leave a review on Avvo as well, and to make sure I'm going to say, hey, are you completely happy? I want them to all walk out the door being very happy, so that I know they'll leave me a good review, which is very important to me.
Yeah.
And then will also give me a positive recommendation to someone if they need help in the future.
Yeah.
And the thing about motorcycle cases, instead of focusing only on auto cases and just being so general, is that with motorcycles, if you're in a car accident, you might know someone in a year or 2 years or 10 years that gets in a car accident. If you ride a motorcycle, you're going to know a couple people a year that get into an accident. Yep. So if you know a good attorney, someone that's helped you out in the past, or someone that you've heard about, there's going to be a constant stream of cases. So that's why I kind of focus on this area of law, is because probably 5-6 years ago, I started helping out one group of motorcyclists, a riding club, and they kept sending me more and more of their members that needed help. And I thought, well, wow, this is going to be something where if I kind of focus more on this, it's going to be a steady stream of cases in perpetuity moving forward.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just said, we're general PI, we do everything, it's a little bit more difficult when you're not specialized. And it kind of, in some ways, sometimes it hurts because people don't just intuitively think, oh, they do auto accidents as well, or oh, they do slip and falls, or oh, they do dog bites. We do all that stuff. But sometimes people are like, oh, well, I referred them to someone else because I didn't know you handled car accidents. We do everything, but we really, like I said, probably 80% plus of our cases are moto.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing the law thing now?
For almost 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually didn't start in this area of law. When I finished law school, I was doing real estate law, and I was working in Dubai for a real estate developer, a German real estate developer. Damn. And then I was working in Abu Dhabi, which is right up the road from Dubai.
I heard both of those places are awesome.
Yeah, they're really cool places to visit.
Yeah.
And I was working in Abu Dhabi then for a Chicago-based developer, and then I was living in Chicago after that. And then I moved back to California about 10 years ago, and then that's when I started really focusing on the personal injury cases. And,
wow. What made you go into law?
I had done a poli-sci degree in undergrad, and there are a couple different angles you could pursue after that, and I liked law, so and I wanted to do real estate back then too. Mm-hmm. So I went to law school down in San Diego, University of San Diego, which I loved it down there. And then I lived in Little Italy.
Oh, really? They have the best restaurants too.
Oh yeah, I love going back down there. I love going back down there. I would maybe even move back down there one day.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and then just kind of the international path just presented itself, and I wanted to do something different. Yep. And it's changed the whole course of my life.
Oh, I bet.
The friends that I have, the business connections I have, the places I've traveled to. It was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How long were you in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for?
I was there for almost 4 years.
Oh wow.
I was originally going to go just for a year, and then ended up staying out there for about 4.
Wow.
Does everybody out there drive Ferraris or?
There's a lot. I mean, a lot of the locals do.
I see the videos. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like McLarens, like all these baller ass cars.
Yeah,
cruising up and down the roads. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, you'll see him with like a panther hanging his head out the window, or like,
dude,
like a tiger.
I see that, bro. I see dudes walking around with hyenas on chains and shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Dude, like they do not give a fuck. Like,
yeah,
they got all the cool pets.
Yeah, they got all the cool pets.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird place. What a weird opportunity, though.
Yeah.
How did that present itself to do that?
You want to know something funny? Is I was doing a JD MBA program down at in San Diego, and I had this real estate finance class, and the professor was always talking about Dubai, and this was in like Dubai's heyday when they were building the Burj. It was called Burj Dubai. It's called Burj Khalifa now, the tallest building in the world. He's always talking about it. He was a consultant. He'd go out there, and so it was always kind of like an interesting place to me. And I remember I was visiting my parents in Orange County one weekend, and we would always, when I'd come see them, we'd watch the news program 60 Minutes, before I would drive back to San Diego. It was on Sunday nights. And there was a whole segment on Dubai, and it was Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, driving around and just showing all the development and all that stuff. And I said, guys, I'm going to move there. To my parents, they're like, bullshit, you're not going to move anywhere. You never lived anywhere.
Get the fuck out of here.
I went, they had like a laptop right there in the kitchen, and I went and I started looking for jobs. No joke. I was living out there like 3 months later.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was nervous to go out there.
How could you not be?
I got called for the job, and then on the phone the guy's like, okay, you're hired. When can you come? I said, whoa, I'd like to come meet you first and see the place. So he's like, come out, take a look, and if you like it, then go backpack your stuff and move out here. If you don't, we'll have a pint, and you made a friend across the world. I said,
holy
cool.
shit.
Sounds easy. So I went out there. I liked it. It seemed like a great opportunity. So I came back and I started packing my stuff for 2 weeks. I didn't sleep because I was nervous leaving my family. I had a girl out here too. Everything you've ever known. Yeah, and I just remember tossing and turning, but I couldn't sleep, and I thought maybe I just shouldn't go. And I was thinking, well, what's going to be the worst case scenario? I go out there, I hate it. I come back in like a couple months. It's kind of embarrassing. Maybe my friends had a going away party for me or something like that. Right. Kind of embarrassing. But I said, what would be even worse is if 10 years from now I look back and I'm like, well, what if in 2007 I would have gone out to Dubai and worked out there? What difference would my life have been, Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to ever think about that in the future. Yep. And so I went and, again, it changed my entire life. Like, I have friends all over the world. I have a whole separate kind of practice and life in Chicago as well, because I worked for the developer out in Abu Dhabi, and I have so many friends there. I've been in probably in the wedding party of like 7-8 different friends out there that I've made. So it's just I just this last Thursday I had friends coming in town. We went to a concert from Chicago, so I'm going over there in 2 weeks. It's just really changed my life, and made it so much better. So I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
That's extreme. Like,
Yeah.
that's not going to like. Yeah,
Texas.
I wouldn't move to Ensenada for a couple years.
At least you're still connected to the continent.
Yeah, dude.
It's a 16-hour flight.
Yeah, I can't. I remember years ago I watched a video of them like kind of shaping Dubai. Building the buildings and stuff like that. I was like, fuck, dude, that shit looks right. I just want to pass through it.
Yeah.
Like he said, see, I can't take a flight that long.
Yeah. Oh, I've never taken a flight that long.
No,
I think the longest I've flown was to Hawaii. It was like 6 hours.
Well, I have a thick neck, so I snore real loud. I'm self-conscious about it, so I can't be on a flight longer than 3 hours.
You got to bring your CPAP machine on the flight.
I get uncomfortable, bro.
Oh, look how big I am, bro. I'm uncomfortable in this chair.
Yeah, dude. I'm not trying to get judged by a bunch of strangers.
Being in planes is hard for me. Like, because even if I wasn't fat, I'd still be. I'm a wide guy, Like, and I've been in flights where you're in the seats, and I remember this when I was flying back from I think Texas or something, and the guy next to me was also another large framed fella in a business suit and everything, and he had the newspaper and he's just like this, like crossed over me with his arm too, and I'm just like, fuck, guess I'm reading the newspaper with you. I read real slow, so I couldn't finish articles by the time he turned the page.
I took a flight from Albuquerque one time, and it was the same thing. Like the seat, and like I don't like touching.
Nah.
I mean,
I'll be like this,
dude. Yeah, you have to sit like that. You're just like, fuck, dude. I can still feel them. Like,
yep.
You know what I mean? I had one lady pull the table down, and she just passed out, and this bitch stank. Like, I'm like, fuck, bro. 2 hours of this. I was like, dude, it was rough. I don't do good on planes, so I ride or drive everywhere. I'm like,
now with all the craziness of this world, I just drive now. I'm good.
Yeah, it's good. So 16 hours on a flight. That's like a dream.
Yeah.
Like that's.
You got to get one of those. Now they have those things, those pods, right, in the planes. So you're in your own little you're in your own little bunker.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not flying Southwest to Dubai.
I don't know. How do you fly to Dubai?
I mean, there's a lot of different planes that go, but we used to fly Emirates. Emirates is the best one. I think Emirates is the best airline in the world. And then the Abu Dhabi, that's the Dubai airline. Mm-hmm. Abu Dhabi airline is Etihad. So you can do either one. Those are both good, and those are both direct.
You get Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So when I first went out there were no direct flights to Dubai. So I used to take Delta, and then probably a year in, Emirates started offering direct flights to LAX. So that made it a lot better too.
I had no idea you can do that in one jump.
Me neither.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking you got to stop like in Germany or some shit like that.
Germany.
I don't know.
You can. I mean, and that would probably be an easier way if you wanted to visit there, would be to fly to like London or something like that. And then from London to Dubai, it's probably 6 hours. But from here to London, it's 10 hours. So you kind of break it up, maybe do a couple days over there. So you're not doing the whole leg at once.
If you want to get your passport stamped a little extra.
Yeah. I made him stamp it when I went to Mexico. Well, stamp my, because I never had a passport before. And I'm like, can you stamp my passport? And they're like, we don't really do that. I'm like, you just stamp it anyways. So he did.
Let me just see that. Just stupid ass.
I'm probably never gonna get another stamp. So
oh fuck, dude.
I don't. Like before I started working for myself doing this company, I'd probably been to 3 states. Like I've still never been to past Sacramento. I've never been past Sacramento in California.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth going anymore either. I heard San Francisco is real weird now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing real bad.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I need to go to Portland anymore. Unless I want free meth.
I'm pretty sure you can get that over here.
Yeah, I guess we live in Riverside.
we drove up to Big Sur the other day. That was beautiful.
Oh, I want to go there.
Oh, I've had a couple friends who've done that and said it's nice.
Oh, it's amazing.
How long does it take you to drive there?
Takes about 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours.
Did you guys stay the night?
We went to this place called Tree Bones. It's like a glamping, like these yurts and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
really cool. And cool sushi restaurant there. We'd been before. We did that for one night, and then we went an hour deeper into Big Sur to this place called Post Ranch for 2 nights. So, yeah, you got to go for a couple nights. It's not just one night, but beautiful drive, amazing place. There's lots of like we were just talking about your new place.
Yep.
Out there, no light pollution. So, at the end of the night, you're just looking up, seeing all the stars, hanging out. It's beautiful. That's cool.
I found this because like I was telling you about the property, how it kind of drops down in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what can we do back there? We have to either get a bunch of fill dirt and bring it up, or maybe I can build a deck back there. And then I was like, you know, it'd be sweet is build a big deck back there, like a 2-story deck, and then put a big yurt on the top of it. For like people when they come visit, they can just go and have their own little space to stay. Yeah. And then I found this badass yurt on the internet, and it's like a dome, and half of it is windows.
What the fuck is a yurt?
Yurt's like a
tent,
like a really fancy tent.
Yeah,
though. like the ones that. And I've stayed in one like that before, like a big round dome.
Yep, with like a door, and
they're huge. Like usually it's bigger than a hotel room.
Yeah, never heard of it.
They just don't have. Most of them don't have a bathroom in it. So like these places that have yurts, they have like communal like showers and stuff like that. Not like dirty, but you know, it's just not in there. Actually, one of the Tree Bones one we had last time. Actually, the yurt, it was a really beautiful yurt. It had a shower and everything inside of it too. So
it'd be like a really fancy teepee. How about that? Yeah. But they're different shapes and stuff, you know. Like,
fuck you.
No, I'm just saying that, like, to compare
let me put it how you would understand it.
This was a really nice one that we had. So this,
yeah.
What the fuck?
And that's like super high.
You're right on the ocean right here. Like you wake up like you're sitting on the ocean.
It's nothing like a teepee.
A really fancy one though.
I'm trying to see if there's one picture one in the
fucking hate you.
No, and then one of the places we went, they had this falconry class, so you can hang out with these birds.
What?
Look at these birds.
A falconry class?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then you're like, now you're talking about the owls earlier. The owls.
Oh yeah.
And, like, rub your
bro.
against the owl. It was pretty cool.
Bro, an owl's my favorite fucking bird.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
I could hear him at my house.
Dude, I got big ones in my backyard. We were out there the other night, and this big like orange tannish one just flying around the backyard. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I got an owl now.
You need to put a big perch up, bro.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but their trees are higher than the perch would go, so they just sit. The hawks and shit just go in the trees.
Wakesy gives me shit because I love owls, and I remember I was coming down the street one day and I saw an owl. There's a small little dude just sitting in the street. I fucking drove around him, didn't even move, and I was like, I'm gonna go catch me a fucking owl right now. Hold my beer. Ran out in the street. I'm kidding you. I was this close to the owl.
And he took off?
Yeah, he was like, psych, bitch.
Yeah.
And then
How
just
big
left.
was it?
Dude, he was just a little guy.
Oh, okay.
Just a little
barn owl?
I don't know. It was just a little fat. He was like almost like a soccer ball. He was just kind of like, he was like you, just stocky and just, you know what I mean? Just round.
And round.
And dude, I was so close. I was like, fuck. I follow Big Boy, you know, from Outkast. He has fucking pet owls. He posts videos where he's just chilling in the studio.
And there's just owls hanging out?
Laying beats, and he's just, yeah. Turn that shit up. Just holding a big ass, monster owl. I'm trying to fucking.
I think you got, I think they're protected, but you could probably.
Who's snitching?
This falconry class we were in, they were telling you have to have all these special licenses and stuff like that.
It's almost like they make a sanctuary for them or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's weird. There's a lot of animals that are protected like that. You can't be fucking with them.
In California, I know. Wasn't in Texas some dude got in trouble because he had a tiger running down the street or something like that. You see that?
Tiger King?
No. By the way, there's a third Tiger King series out. No,
I started watching it.
I think it was
just beating a dead horse. Now it feels like.
I think it was last year or earlier this year. Somebody reported a tiger.
Yeah, I remember that.
Chasing someone down the street, and then they videotaped this dude run out, grab the tiger, and then he either put it in his car and took off, or brought it in his house. And the cops came and raided his house, and they're like, "Where's the tiger?" And he was like, "What tiger?
What tiger?"
Well, then I guess they found the tiger later on. I guess this dude was like, he was like a poor man's El Chapo in Texas or whatever.
Didn't he have a bunch of different animals though?
Yeah.
He had a bunch of stuff.
He had a zoo. But fuck, bro, like
we get hawks, big hawks flying around. We were working at the house the other day, and I go outside in the front yard to put something out there, and you just hear the hawks screaming. Rah, like however they sound, and I look up and there's two hawks probably just like 40 feet above the house just flying around right there, and then you would watch him just tuck his wings and just drop, like not together. I think they were doing like a little mating dance or something, One would just drop and then put his wings back out, and they're just doing that for 20 minutes right above the house.
That's cool. You live in that area though where there's all kinds of
I've seen vultures. We get the big like chicken hawks.
Dude, you have all the prey for all those kinds of animals. You got rabbits, rats.
You'll probably see them hunting too, huh?
Oh yeah. I'm sure we will. The more we're like there, I'm sure we'll start seeing them like dropping down and grabbing stuff, because we have like big like oaks in the very back of the property, and they're like probably 40, 50 feet tall, and so that's what I was like. Oh, we're gonna build like a hawk perch, and they're like, well, it won't be taller than them trees, so they'll be in the trees anyways. It'd be a waste of a time, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, they're all over the place back there.
I was on where all real news comes from, Facebook. and somebody posted an article where down in San Diego they were seeing large black cats, and I was like,
foxes.
No, they're saying that there might be like black leopards in the area, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
What?
As cool as I'm like, we'll talk, dude. I want a fucking tiger, I want a lion,
yeah.
you know. I'm like, there's a wild jaguar running around in fucking Lakeside right now, like, and then I googled it, of course. Yeah, America has fucking jaguars.
Oh yeah,
like they come up from Mexico. I'm just like, what the fuck?
We
have these things out here. We got mountain lions. Now we got jaguars.
Yeah, we got bobcats and stuff where I'm at.
Yeah, but they're not gonna fucking eat you, you know?
No, I don't think they will.
Yeah, no. I mean, they might fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah, we have foxes here in Riverside, and they're weird. I've seen them. We get them in my front yard where I live now because the people across the street have an avocado plant, and so they go and they snatch avocados and they bring them to my grass and they eat them there, like during the spring and summertime. Mm-hmm. And we've lived there for like 3 years, and all of a sudden I started noticing like all these like opened up half avocados, and I'm like, I just kind of figured they're dropping off the tree and like a car's like running them over like in a weird spot. You know, they're kind of slimy, so they're like flinging out and landing in my yard. I'm like, whatever. And one day I go look and you see all these little claw marks out of it. I'm like, no, something is like bringing them here and eating this shit, you know? And so my son, I told him about it one day, and he stayed up all night like watching out his window, and he's all, it was a fox. He said it's these little... And I've seen one now personally. I've seen one actually running across Arlington here, and they're about this big, and they're black, and they have these big fucking tails, like fluffy ass tails that are like, you know.
Oh, those are the scientific name for those I think is called skunk, dude.
No, it's not a skunk.
It's a skunk.
But they're because the tail's different. You know what I mean?
Do they smell funny?
No, because a skunk has like a flatter tail. I know we see. I like when you pass by a run over skunk because I like the smell.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
dude?
I don't know. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know.
That's the worst smell ever.
It doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's weird, but I like the smell of I don't want to be sprayed by a skunk, but when you just get a whiff of it, I'm like, skunk.
Hothead.
Bro,
yeah, maybe.
Bad weed head is what you are.
You know, but you can tell the difference because the fox's tail is real big and round and like fluffy. Totally different. You know what I mean? But I've seen them. They're weird. They're cool looking. But you know, Catalina has its own foxes there.
I've been to Catalina since I was a kid.
Oh, you should go. It's fun.
Yeah?
We go every year, which that's not as fun. But if you go here once in a while.
I want to go, but you go when it's warmer, though, yeah?
We go in July.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But Catalina has its own foxes. They're called Catalina Foxes. That fox is nowhere else in the world. They said that like the Indians, when the Indians crossed over with canoes.
Whoa, Native Americans. If I can't say midget, you can't say Indians.
I'll have to agree on that.
Yeah.
All right. The consensus is in. When the Native Americans crossed over from like the coast here and went to Catalina to like establish, you know, their land or whatever there, they brought over these like foxes, which then like whatever did something on the island and made these different type of foxes, and they're only there. And they're literally only like this big.
Well, Catalina has buffalo too, don't they? Or
not
bison?
as many. They used to have a shit ton, but now they don't have as many. Because they're not bringing them there anymore.
I was going to say, they'd have to be inbreeding at some point.
Yeah, yeah. So there is still, I think they said, because we did this last time we did this like Humvee tour of the island. And then the dude we had, that driver, he was super knowledgeable, which was really cool. But I think he said there was only like something like 90 buffalo left on the island. Because the island's actually really large. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, there's only basically two cities. You know what I mean? There's Avalon, which is the main city. That's where like the boats all go to. And then there's two harbors. But two harbors is like they got like a grocery store and like, you know, a barber shop and like nothing really. Huh. So, you know, people stay in Avalon. You know, that's where the clubs are and the bars and like the nightlife. You know what I mean? Like that's like the major city of the island. Mm-hmm. And there's like some other maybe small developments and stuff, or like areas a little bit outside of Avalon where they have like housing structures and stuff. But beyond that, really, you just stay there.
Yeah, I've never been out there before.
It's cool, man. You know, like there's a nice dive bar, and then there's like a fancy like a beach club for the daytime. Like, you know, you got like you can rent the cabanas, and you know, it's really nice. You know, and there's a lot of stuff to do. You can rent a golf cart and cruise around. You can do like the little tour stuff. There's a little house or like a hut, or I don't know what you want to call it, that just floats in the middle of the ocean, like right by the beach club. And you can rent jet skis. And just, you know, cool. Like there's actually kind of quite a bit of stuff to do. And it's like, you know, it's got a lot of nice places, you know, which is nice. But we go every year, so it's like it's expensive. It's not cheap to go there. We usually go for a week, which is even more. But it's like my wife's family vacation. They've been doing it for like 40-something years.
Okay.
So
that's cool to have the tradition.
Her dad's been going ever since he was a kid. Like, it's like, you know, this long term. He's got friends that have been now go like since they were teenagers. Like, you know, it's just like this thing. So I'm like, you know, we do this vacation every year and all the different places we could have seen already, but we come back to Catalina. But you ain't convincing them to go somewhere else. We've tried.
Tradition.
Yeah, it's neat because I don't have any of those, but, you know, so. But now I take my kids, too. So now my kids have been going every year, and then they come and stay. And, you know, so it's like.
Now they have a tradition.
Yeah, so it's like we're starting this other thing with another, you know, line of people, you know, so it's fun, though. I think it's cool. It's all right.
I'm going to check it out this coming summer.
Yeah, I would. You know, you can do the parasailing. You know, there is quite a bit of stuff to do. I don't know if there's a week's worth of stuff to do.
I'll probably do 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, 2-3 days. I'm usually good by then.
Yeah.
You know, I've visited the places I want to visit, and then you're just kind of repeating. But it's like we get the niece and nephew who are little, and they like to do the miniature golf and this and that. And you know, so there's always, they have like this, it's almost like for the week we're there, we have this schedule. And that gets exhausting.
It doesn't sound, a week anywhere is rough. Like,
no, I can go back to this. When me and my wife went and did our honeymoon, we had this all-inclusive resort in Cancun.
Oh, that could be
I'd
good,
go back there for a month.
That or Hawaii.
Yeah.
Or Dubai. I feel like there's a whole lot in Dubai that you can, like, you wouldn't be able to do in a week. Am I wrong?
I think you could do UAE. That's the whole country. I think you could do that in a week. You probably want to do like 4 days Dubai, 2 or 3 days Abu Dhabi. You could get it all done. There's a lot of activities and stuff, but I mean, I think you can get it done and then maybe go on to somewhere else from there, like go visit. You know,
but I feel like there's a lot to do though. It's not like, bro, I can handle Vegas for 3 days tops.
Max, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I got a vacation coming up in end of the month for Christmas, and I just found out I get an extra day off from work. Dang. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna still keep my schedule the same. I don't want to be out where I'm going for too long.
I have a buddy of mine who builds like off-road trucks, and he was building a prototype off-road truck for a place in Dubai for them to check out, like ship one out there, and then if everything worked, that they're gonna like basically purchase a bunch from him because they rent them out to people that come visit, so they can go do
like
pre-run trucks
safari,
out yeah. Big money right there.
I started thinking now. I see all these wild ass videos coming out of like it's either like Saudi Arabia or Dubai. Like this dude just whipping wagons around, like hanging out the windows, just doing donuts. Just
is it got a crazy nightlife there?
Yeah, it's like a Vegas type of nightlife over there.
All the time too, huh?
All the time.
Yeah.
All year round.
Wow.
Yeah. Summertime, it gets too hot there. Like summertime, you can't really be outside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unless you're like inside a pool, you're not walking around outside. Oof. It's like, because it's like Vegas heat with Miami humidity. It's like there's just like a hot like hair dryer blowing on your face. Oh. That's how someone described it to me before I'd been there in the summertime, and it's just like that.
Wow.
So you go, you know, office, taxi, apartment, taxi, office, or you're in a pool, or you stay indoors. But everything. To serve alcohol out there, everything's supposed to be connected to a hotel because it's for tourists. Yeah. But everything is a hotel, so there's alcohol everywhere.
Oh,
and,
wow.
You know, women can dress however they want over there, same as here. It's a fun place to visit.
How old were you when you went there?
I was 27.
Did you party a lot out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quick.
A lot of the money that I made went right back into Dubai. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was like when you went out there? What was your first like I guess reaction to like after a few days of like kind of taking the things in and like like being out in the nightlife and stuff like that? What was it? Were you just like fuck yeah?
So I had 2 German bosses when I was in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
We were building a hotel out there. And one of them was a younger guy, like mid-30s, and then the other guy was, in his 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Germans are, really strict, very, very, like, diligent, militant on everything. And so I was hanging out with the younger boss a lot. He lived in this Shangri-La hotel. There was a bar there, like a club bar, outdoor place called Eye Candy. And we would go there with him every night. We'd get bottles. We'd stay up all night. I was coming into work a little bit late each day. And the other German boss told me, he said, hey, what do you think you're doing? He's like, you can't come in late. He goes, I don't give a fuck if you stay out until 6 in the morning. If you're not here by 8:30, you're losing a whole day's vacation, a whole day's flight. He's like, I don't give a shit about the labor laws. That's what's going to happen to you.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, so if you, and he goes, and you do that a couple of times, you're out of here. So from then on, I would still stay out late, but no matter what time I went home, I was in the office by 8:29 every day.
Yep.
And I was like, if you're going to do the crime, you have to do the time.
Yep.
And so I've always been like that now. You know, even if I party, I'll and I don't usually drink on Sundays or anything like that. I don't like to be hungover for Monday for work. But if I am, I always go to work. It's just instilled in me now, and I'll never, maybe once every couple of years, you know, I'll take the day off if I've had a big one. But no, I
want to be 27 again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, now, you know, it's tougher. Yeah.
Bro, I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it was a good lesson too, you know, and I've always kind of carried that forward. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was wild. You know, you're meeting people from everywhere. You can travel so easily from there. You know, you can be almost anywhere in Europe within 4 to 6 hours. Greece is 4 hours away.
Oh, wow.
Paris, London, 6 hours away. So, you know, I made friends out there, and we would travel once a month. So once a month, I'd go to a new place, whether it was, you know, London, whether it was Barcelona, whether it was Beirut, Lebanon, or whether it was Jordan. You know, go to Petra and see things that you would never be able to see that easily living in the United States. You know, but living over there, you know, flying, you know, 3 hours to maybe maximum 7 hours, it's easy. You know, Thailand.
Did you do a lot of traveling before you went out there, or was like once you got out there, it was a whole new? Just a whole new experience.
No, before that, I'd only been to, you know, like Florida or to Vegas or, you know, like just close by, you know. Never. But then out there, it just opened your eyes to like a whole new experience.
See, that the way that I feel like Hawaii is, like everything's expensive in Hawaii, you know, because they're so far out there, you know what I mean? Like even though they're part of America.
Yep.
I feel like country-wise, it's the same as like, you know, like how they probably think about us, like we're Hawaii to them. Like how we think, because you can go, it's like you said, you can go fucking everywhere over there.
Yep.
You can see the world, you know, in hours.
Yeah.
We're over here, it's fucking 16 hours just to get somewhere cool.
Yeah.
You know, fuck, that's nice.
The only things that were really far over there was United States and Australia.
See?
So, you know, those are the 16-hour flights. But everything else is much closer, you know.
You went to Thailand?
Yeah.
Was that cool?
It was great.
Yeah.
I'm so scared to go to Thailand just because so many ladyboys over there. Like, you don't know, man. It's a gamble. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to worry about it now, but I mean, before I was just like there's some, I mean, oh fuck, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Like there's shows where I'm just like there was this video I saw where this guy was like, yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna go down. Like there was like these chicks, and they're good looking chicks, and I use that term loosely, chicks. And this guy walk up, and they're just like, oh, what's up, baby? Like this and that. And I mean, just rocking some big old titties and just, I mean, done up nice, dude. And he was just like, he's like, how big is your dick? And they just turn around and walk inside the little shack that they're hanging out of. I'm just like, dude, just like that. I was like, oh, bro, like it's a gamble out there if you're partying. Like,
yeah, I've heard tons of stories.
Yeah, dude, it's rough. But I mean, Thailand's like always been on one of the spots because
I like the buildings. I like all like the Asian like architecture. That's always been
food is amazing. Going out is fun, and it's dirt cheap. It's
that's what I've
hard to spend $100 a day.
That's what
it's hard to spend $100.
Years and years and years ago, I used to get tattooed in this guy's garage in Hesperia, and I met a guy in the garage because the garage was the place, and he was a chef in San Diego for 6 months out of the year, and the other 6 months he would save money, and the other 6 months he would live in Thailand. And he said $100 a day, you live like a king. Mm-hmm. Massages, lobster, like everything, anything you want. $100 a day, you do it. It's like that.
That's what I heard. I heard you could live like a king.
Yeah, lady boys.
All the lady boys.
All the good ones too.
Just keep your pants on.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like I heard the Philippines are like that too.
I've never been there.
Yeah, I heard you can live like a king for a month. You know, on $50.
Yeah, I always want to go to like Japan and stuff. I don't.
Well, no, I heard Japan's super. Is Dubai and everything like that out there like expensive like Japan, or is it?
Dubai's very expensive. Yeah, Dubai's probably more expensive than Japan. Well, most things in Dubai are expensive. Gas, dirt cheap. Cigarettes, dirt cheap. Human labor, dirt cheap. But everything else, going out.
So they're just pumping the gas right out of the ground out there.
Yeah, it's free.
Less travel.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. Like that blew my mind because I mean, I'm not even, like I said, I don't travel.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm just a fucking.
I've barely traveled, so
Dude,
I don't know nothing about it.
I'm a Southern California redneck. Like I thought you could only live in
Redneck.
Dubai if like you're some kind of like royalty, like 100%.
No,
Like
most of Dubai is expats. I would say 85% of Dubai is expats.
What's an
It's,
expat?
someone from another place that's living and working over there.
Oh, gotcha.
So they brought in all the expats. Maybe it's changing a little bit more as more of them get develop different skills and are going to school. But no, the expats are the ones that are coming in to build all the buildings and be the doctors, be the lawyers, and they definitely do have locals that do those jobs, but the local population is very, very small compared to all the expats from all over the world that come and live there.
Is there a good education system there, or things like that for that nature for the people who are already like raised and established there to get in on, or how does that work?
I don't, I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I had some friends that I met there that grew up out there and went to high school and stuff there, but most of them went out of the country to go to college, and then they would come back there.
That's interesting.
Did you ever watch the UFC when during COVID when they built the that was like their
I think
fight
I've wanted
island?
to.
They do a lot of them out there
Yeah.
in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, and
I
Abu
think
Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi owns. Sorry, I mean, I think that they own part of the UFC, like a significant portion.
Probably so
of
they
it.
can gamble out there.
Yeah. Well, there's no gambling out there, but I'm sure there's like
They're
some kind
gambling
of
out there.
Yeah.
They doing some side bets.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, no, like when you watch the fights, like it's just all like I 100%.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
They were all robed out.
Yeah,
Yep,
like they're
yep.
like sheiks or something like that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, these are all kings or princes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and not like to be like an asshole type of stereotype. I 100% thought that's just how it was over there. Like I heard Saudi Arabia, you can only go over there if you're invited. Like I don't know if that's true or not. Right. That's just what I hear. Like you have to have like an invitation. Just because I hear like on other podcasts like comedians and stuff like that. Oh, Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy.
Yeah,
he was saying that he was talking about how he went over there, but he had to be you have to be invited, and they give you a rundown of all the rules and stuff like that. Like
weird.
But I don't know if that's true or not. But I just assumed like it was just like that all over there. Like everybody was just wealthy and some kind of royalty out there. Like I just thought like ball out UFC.
Yeah.
So Dubai realized 20, 30 years ago that they're going to run out of oil at some point. Abu Dhabi has all the oil. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the UAE, and they're the very, very rich emirate. Each of the places is called an emirate. It's like a state. There's I think there's 7 of them. So Dubai realized that, so they started trying to figure out their plan for the future. They said our plan is tourism. So that's why they've built all of these different islands and all these different indoor skiing and the skydiving and the metro and like connecting the whole place is because they wanted it to be a big tourist destination. And so that's what it has become. And Abu Dhabi still has all of the oil and all of the wealth, but they've become the same. They've got a Louvre museum there now. They've got a Guggenheim museum. They just had the Formula One this last weekend. The last race of every year is in Abu Dhabi, in this place called Yas Island, Yas Marina Circuit, and they just had that. That's their biggest weekend of the year is the Abu Dhabi F1. And people from all over the world come for it. All of the big yachts from all over the world are there. All of the celebrities, all of the girls, everyone's out there. And so they've really made it, it's open to everybody. It's a big tourist destination now.
And how far is Abu Dhabi away from Dubai?
Like an hour and a half in the car.
Oh, wow. That's Riverside.
Easy.
It's Riverside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly, dude. I've always, and I watch that's how I travel, YouTube videos, like, or shows like people who traveling. Like I live through that, like, and I see them doing tours of Abu Dhabi and stuff like that, and like Japan, but they're always saying like Japan is the most expensive place to go visit, even though it looks fucking rad.
Yeah, it looks rad.
I was watching a video where this dude checked in. Actually, what he was doing was he was going to do a tour of in Japan. I guess they had a radio or one of those nuclear sites had a meltdown or whatever, so like they had to close a whole town. So he was going to do a tour, of that town and stuff like that. But he was checking into a hotel. Not a single person was there to check him in. It was all robots. And it was a Velociraptor robot checking him in. He was talking to a raptor robot checking him in. I was like, dude, that's how fucking rad is that? Everything's in a vending machine, but like it's all pricey. But I'm just like,
I've seen pictures because I've known a bunch of people that go out, have gone there to visit or go out there every year for like the Moon Eye show and stuff. And it looks very interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely it looks like a culture
big time
shock. Like
you'd be a giant out there.
Oh no, come on.
Well, that's the thing though. Everybody's so short. There's short people out there
in Japan.
Yeah, Tons of short people.
When I went out there, they had this. You can do Mario Kart, but on the street.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. What?
It's dangerous, but you put on the outfits,
they dress up,
and you go, and it's like the game too, because there's like the Rainbow Bridge, there's all this stuff, and these are like carts that go like 40 miles, 50 miles an hour. And it's like Fast and Furious. They've got like a front leader and a back leader that like block off the streets and stuff. And you're just whipping around the whole city. It's the coolest way that I've ever seen a city. Cause you go through all the different neighborhoods.
You did it?
I did it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You go through all the different neighborhoods. Let me see if I've got a picture. And
what?
And
I've seen that shit.
You really get to kind of get a feel for all of those.
That's the raddest shit I've ever, bro.
Yeah.
I grew up. Who didn't grow up on Mario Kart?
Oh, I don't even want to know them if they didn't.
Bro.
I still be playing Mario Kart. You know that.
Bro, I would get so mad when somebody get Yoshi before me.
Oh yeah.
And then you're just on these carts, like in the
Oh shit.
the streets, and these carts are fast. They're
Yeah, there's those shifter carts. They're
yeah, they
Yep,
are. And
yep.
I don't know if they still have it right now, because 100% people have to die doing this. I mean,
I would imagine.
And I think, but the Japanese are very good drivers, so I think that's something that
Not
helps
over
as
here.
well. Japan in general, I think that they're very cautious drivers.
They probably have to, because the population's huge out there, isn't it?
Well, I figured it's like all the videos I see of it. It's just, it looks like how I pictured New York back in the day.
Just condensed.
Yeah,
people
it's just nobody drives. Everyone just walks everywhere because there's so many people. But I also heard that there's no personal space over there. Like they don't know how to not
like,
be.
they're like, you guys are like, when they're walking on the streets, it's like
There's that one crossing. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's very famous.
Yeah,
It was in
always
Fast and
see
the
Furious.
busiest like crossing in the world, like crosswalk.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, we went at the wrong time of year. I went with a couple buddies of mine. It's probably like 5 years ago. We went right after Christmas, like going into New Year's, but we didn't know that's like one of the only times that the Japanese take a couple weeks off. So a lot of the stuff was closed. It was, it was still cool, but it was kind of cold.
But
and
everybody's
a lot of stuff was
out.
closed. Yeah, but I heard the best time is like March during this Japanese cherry blossom festival or something like that.
I bet.
When all the trees change and yeah.
And don't they do the lantern stuff at that time too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Were they like those lanterns they all put in the
No,
sky?
I know what you're
that'd
talking
be
about.
sick. Yeah. What an interesting place. I've always liked like the architecture and stuff, like all that stuff in Japan. I think it's always been neat.
And we got donkey shows in TJ, so nothing cool like that. Fuck, dude. See, like we're missing out, dude. We get all the.
Well,
one of my friends just moved to Germany. Like he just did the jump.
Germany's what I've heard is a weird place.
I have
also.
never been actually.
Yeah, I've heard it's a weird place. So they have like the red district, right?
That's Amsterdam, I think. The red light district.
Isn't that all the same place though?
No, Amsterdam is. But I heard Berlin is like a crazy place.
That's where my friend moved to. Like he just posted like they do Christmas like way harder than we do.
I don't even like
it tripped me out. I was like, and I'm not saying like I'm expecting to see like old fucking Hitler statues and shit like that. I just you don't know. I said I don't expect to see that stuff. Like I understand.
You thought about it.
I mean, when you're a kid, that's what you think, though, right? Like,
I don't know. My family was from Germany, so I didn't think that way.
That explains why you call them Indians and not Native Americans. But no, like the pictures, like I was like, dude, I was not expecting that. It looks like it's like old. It's like old buildings. It seems like old, like weird temple-ish looking buildings, like just some old school stuff. Covered in fucking Christmas lights, dude. Everyone's having a good old time. I was like, dude,
it's weird thinking about the length of time the United States has been here compared to all the other like countries like Europe and all that stuff.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, all that stuff's been there for so much longer than this, and like has all the old buildings and all the old brick architecture. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting.
Well, I think part of what I was just thinking about it now. Part of what my problem is you think that like you're raised thinking like nothing is better than America. You know what I mean? Like everywhere else sucks. Like everywhere else is all communist and stuff like that. And everyone that I know that's been everywhere else, like all the cool spots, not those shitties like, spots. Everyone says that they're fucking cool. Like,
but it's just visiting. Visiting and living is two different things. Because like I know a lot of people from different countries that live here, and they all tell you, every person I've ever met that was from a different country, whether it's Europe, Italy, Mexico, all over the place, will say that no matter what is happening, especially right now, it's all crazy, this is still the best country to live in.
Quality of life here and level of service and things like that, You can't find that anywhere. Even in places like Dubai where they say there's a 7-star hotel, or Thailand, or any of these places, it's still, 7 guys that don't know how to do what one guy here is trained to do. So it really is the level of service here, and things are cheap here, or a lot cheaper than they are most places. Most other places are very expensive compared to being in the United States.
And the places that aren't expensive, you probably don't want to live there.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
there's no free refills in any of these other places either.
Yeah. Yeah. See, don't take that for granted.
But I'm saying also, what do those people look like that aren't getting free refills though? Like we're the fattest country, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go to the Philippines, like I said, like we talked to earlier, you can live like a king on $100.
Yep.
But I'm always seeing people in the news, I think the president said like he gave the cops permission to shoot anybody affiliated with drugs. Like if you're a suspected drug, I'm talking about pot.
Yeah, well.
Pot. You get shot over pot. Like people are getting killed, executed over this kind of thing. Like for bringing stuff in. Like
and that goes to show you though. You know what I mean? It's one thing traveling, visiting, and being a tourist in these places. I think it's a whole different thing living there and having to abide by these stricter laws. I think in general, most countries are way stricter than the United States.
Well, I heard China, you don't get the regular internet. Like they give you an internet when you
isn't China doing that weird digital stuff now, where they're like scanning you and like having where they know if you've broken laws and all sorts of weird shit. You haven't seen any of that stuff? You know what I'm talking about? No,
I think you're probably right, but I don't know.
Maybe I was watching too much Total Recall or something.
Dude, I was just, what's the Minority Report?
Yeah, Minority Report.
Dude, if something's like that's going to come up, it's probably going to be in China.
Oh,
like they're hardcore strict from what I hear.
Yeah. But if we went and visited there, it'd probably be fine. You'd probably go there and come back and be like, China was awesome. But you know what I mean? That's the trade-off.
Well, I mean, it's like when I tell people about Albuquerque, I'm like, oh, Albuquerque's cool to pass through.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I wouldn't want to stay. I wouldn't want to.
But when this guy goes and visits the nice part of Albuquerque, and he's like, "Oh, I love it there."
Good luck finding one of those.
It's like when I go to Wyoming, I'm like, "Fuck, I fucking love Wyoming." How am I going to make money there? You know what I mean? Like I think about moving out of California all the time, but how am I going to make money there? Like I mean, we have a website. Yeah, we can make money relatively everywhere, but the reality of what we do, being in our culture, in the motorcycle culture, like how we are and dominant in it and heavy into it. You know what I mean? Just like you're doing. How much has that shown, like how it's elevated what you're doing?
Oh, definitely, and I've thought the same as well. I've thought like I'd maybe like to move back to Chicago, but I've got so many clients here and so many events here, and also this is for you too. It's a 24, it's a 365-day a year riding state, whereas Illinois, maybe they can ride 4 months out of the year, maybe, so it's different.
Yeah.
But it's also weird, that some of the public policy and safety things are strange to me. Like Illinois has no helmet law, but lane splitting is illegal. Or, California, helmet law, but lane splitting is legal. So it's I don't know how they come up with these things or how it balances out.
Yeah. I think that I think laws like that, for one, are weird. I think that, okay, seatbelt law, helmet law, it's like a pro-choice thing, right? It should be your choice to wear. I understand why you need to wear. I wear my seatbelt and I wear a helmet. And even when I go to states that don't require a helmet, I wear a helmet because that's like the weirdest thing to not wear while riding a motorcycle. You know what I mean? Maybe don't wear your gloves. But you only got one brain. You know what I mean? You fucking smack that thing, you're dunzy.
Yep.
I've done 2 different places where I didn't wear a helmet. I rode around Hawaii without a helmet, but also because the bike I rented the helmet came with, like, pressed on my head all weird and gave me a gnarly migraine. Mm-hmm. And then me and Dylan, when we did our Sturgis trip, we went through Yellowstone with no helmets, which I felt kind of a little safer. We were in a national park, But I don't understand the no helmet thing.
I've done it a couple of times. I was in Gilbert, Arizona, and my friend was like, I stayed at my friend's house.
One of the worst places to do it.
Yeah, and he was just like, he's like, "You gonna ride with your?" Because I rode out there, and he was like, "You gonna ride with your helmet?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." I made it 2 lights down Higley, dude. I turned back around. I was like, "Dude, it feels so fucking weird."
I don't like it.
And you get paranoid. I'm just like, "Fuck, bro."
Yep.
Here we go. Because this fucking thing. It's big. It's gonna splat like a brick, dude.
You might hit a bug and hurt your head.
But
seriously, bugs do hurt also.
Yeah, no.
Like I don't get these guys riding no helmet, like just wearing glasses. Bugs hit my helmet all the time.
Yeah.
They're getting beamed in the face by a beetle or something. That shit's gotta fucking hurt, man.
Yeah. It trips me out. And I don't understand why, like, that none of the other states, they legalize the lane splitting.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's the trippiest thing.
I've seen a chart, and I'd have to find it. I think I screenshot it, but I saw a chart one day where there's gray areas of lane splitting in certain states. So it's like not illegal, but it's not also legal.
That's how California was for a long time, wasn't it?
I think it still is.
No, I think California it is legal.
Well, it's legal, but they don't have like any, way I understand it, and you may know more, what I've read a couple of years ago, there's no real guidelines to the lane splitting. CHP has their guidelines, right? It's not law. It's just like guidelines. Like they're not supposed to do it over 35 miles an hour, and you're not supposed to do it any faster than 10 miles an hour than the speed of traffic.
That's right. Yeah.
And but yeah, we split lanes at 90.
Right.
You know, and everybody does this. I mean, I follow CHP all the time.
The cops doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw one yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of times where I see them coming up behind me, and I'll pull over, let them go, and then I just follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you know,
real quick, Ramin, if I get a speeding ticket, do I call you?
Well, we don't handle speeding tickets.
Okay.
I get that question a lot.
No, yeah, that's
maybe
a legit question.
We should to help people out, but no, we just when I did it, I used one of those ticket clinics.
Yeah.
And they got it handled for me actually. I think it was like $200, and then I think they show up for you, and the cop didn't show up on my day, but I've done it years ago where I went there and waited all day, and the cop showed up, and I had to pay the ticket anyways. So I just want to do that again. I was tied up there, I think, for like 5 or 6 hours, and I was like the last one, and he was there. So
yeah, because we there's a local guy down there. I'm pretty sure he's down in San Diego. Mr. Ticket. Everyone's like, oh, everywhere I go, it's like, oh, hit up Mr. Ticket. So I don't know if it's just like a nationwide thing or whatever, if it's just one dude, but the last couple of tickets that I got, I did the first time I did it. I just was like, let me see what happens. You know, I'll just show up, you know, say not guilty, and the cop didn't show up. I got let off the hook, but that's the one where me and Sean got pulled over, and Sean went to court, and he was just like, guilty, you know, hoping he can get his the price of the ticket lower. They're like, nah, and then same time,
I don't like going to court. I just pay it.
The same time, I went the same time, and I said not guilty. They're like, okay, come back, and cop never showed up. And then I ended up getting pulled over by the same cop a couple months later. So
did he remember you?
No. But it's funny because when I was working at the dealership, he showed up, and then he remembered. And then he was actually a baseball coach with Sean. He did remember us because he was a baseball coach in Sean's kids' little league.
Uh-huh.
And then they recognized each other, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I caught you guys going over 100." You know, but he knew the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't remember me on the second time though. But I remembered him because of his demeanor. You know what I mean? So when I got that ticket, I was like,
what was it like? Like a cop?
Oh yeah. No, but you know what? And he was cool in the sense that he didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
He was just like, license and registration, here you go. You know what I mean? Like, didn't give me no shit. And then I thought, no way he's gonna let me off the hook with this one. So I went and I got a hold of just a random firm. It wasn't like one of those Mr. Ticket or Mr. Get You Out of you know thing or no catch. It was just law offices of so and so, you know, and I guess they all handle it. So they took care of it. It was like I think I paid like $100 for a retaining fee or whatever, and then I heard from them like 6 months later, and they're like, "Oh, we got it cleared," but Lacey got a ticket, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she gets everybody because everybody knows who this lady is or her firm is."
Yeah.
And then I don't know the specifics of Lacey's ticket. She wouldn't let me see it, but she ended up, you know. We went through them and it didn't work out, and they said, well, we got it reduced to like $600, and I was like, what the fuck?
What was the ticket for?
That's what I said, dude.
Jeez.
I was like, fuck, were you shooting out the window when you were driving, or what the fuck were you doing, dude?
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, it's nice to just have one of those things, but I figure like that's what they have. That's all they do is those type of things, right? Because I imagine it takes a lot of time.
I bet.
Because a lot of people are getting tickets.
But if they're probably just it's a ticket
is
form.
Is it a thing though? Like, do they go
ticket form? If they're just nailing tickets all day long, it's just.
Do they show up or do they call it in or like how does that work?
I don't know. I've never done it before.
That's just so weird to me. I'm like, fuck. Do they wait down there? Because when I went that one time, I was there for like 3 hours.
That's because they saw you coming.
Just for 5 minutes of.
Suspect Brown.
Probable cause Brown.
Probable cause Brown.
Bro, let me tell you what. When I was in that courthouse, it's in the hallway. They were late to come back from lunch or whatever, and I was just watching all these cops show up, and I couldn't remember what the cop who gave me a ticket. I couldn't remember what he looked like, and then I was just like, "Is that him?" And I was like trying to look at the name tags, and I was like, "Oh, it's not him." I was fucking sweating because there was all windows.
They all thought you were mad dogging them, bro, probably.
You can see I watched a cop get off a fucking bus, bro. He took a bus to the courthouse.
Wow.
What kind of asshole takes a bus to show up to
got a
court,
DUI
bro.
the night before.
bro, like, I was just like, what the hell, dude? I was like, of course that would be my. And no, he never showed up. And the whole time I was in court, I was just looking around like, is he fucking showing up? Every time that door would crack open.
Probably thought you were a Unabomber.
Well, because I knew what Sean got on his ticket, and I was like, dude, I'm not trying to pay $550 for this ticket, dude.
Yeah.
And then, come to find out the guy was actually in an accident, so he was laid up in the hospital. But god damn, dude, like you got to sit there and wait, and all the other lawyers were sitting in there too, just hanging out. And like, bro, that's all these guys do all day is just.
That's gotta be so boring,
dude. It's rough, and then you gotta sit through all the people that are explaining their dumbass fucking stories. Like
God.
I was in there, and this girl, I forgot how fast she was going. She was going like over freeway speeds in obviously like a residential, area. So they fucking, she comes in and they're like, well, we're gonna suspend your license, but it was stupid. We're gonna suspend your license for like 2 weeks, and she was like, oh, I don't have my license with me. Like, what? Like, how'd you get here? So I drove. You drove here? Yep. All right. Fucking jammed her up, took her in the back, and fucking cuffed her up.
Wow.
Yeah, but like all these people like explain their stupid. Let me tell you, like.
And the judge never sides with them. Even, I remember the one that I went to where I sat there the whole time. Everyone's got some just cockamamie story.
Yeah.
Even one guy had kind of a good story. I believed him a little bit. But the judge still said no. He still decided.
As soon as you open your mouth, like even the first court they go to where it's just guilty or not guilty, that's all you gotta fucking say. It's 1 or 2 words. Motherfuckers are out there just, well, let me tell you what happened. No, just it's guilty or not guilty. That's 1 or 2, and I'm just sitting there like, motherfucker, I gotta go to work. Let's go.
I always wanted to, like, if I get pulled over speeding, I was just like, I got diarrhea, man. I gotta go now,
dude. It's gotta work at some point.
It's gotta work at some point.
It's gotta work at
because
some
that's
point.
like that's like the thing everybody can like relate to. At some point driving, at one point you ate something you shouldn't have ate and you got bubble guts and you're trying to get the fuck home,
bro.
And you're like, just go, man, just go.
Dude, I live in a rough spot, and I remember I've cut. It was just recently. I was just like, dude, I was out shopping, doing some Christmas shopping, and then I was like, and I was talking to some people that I ran into that I knew, and I was like, and then just right there, I was just sitting there talking mid sentence, I got the shit shivers, and I was like,
the shit shivers.
I gotta go, dude. I jumped in there, and it was like all lights to my house, and I fucking broad daylight, dude. It was like a Sunday, and I was like, fuck this, we're going. I just started cutting the lights, dude. I'm just like, this is not gonna go well, bro. Like, shivers. And I was like, you know what? If I get pulled over, I'm fucking done. The only way I'm getting out of this ticket, that's what he said. The only way I'm getting out of this, if I shit my pants. Yep. See, shit coming in my back. I look like my son, just fucking a blowout, dude. I'm just like, dude. I was like, this is not gonna go well, man.
Oh,
man. That's my biggest fear is getting pulled over when I'm on a shit run. Oh. Like, that's the worst. Like, I'm like, dude.
One night, me and Amy went drinking in Orange County, and we got too drunk. We were Ubering. We went and visit a friend. We were Ubering from bar to bar, and we got too drunk to drive home. But I didn't want to stay out there, and so we Ubered back to Riverside, like on the down low, out of the app with the guy. How much? This much. All right, cool. Let's go. And on the way, I'm like, fuck. We're like on the 91 getting close. I'm like,
you start sweating.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, dude. I need you to pull over. You got to pull over right now. Go to this gas station right now. I had to get out of that car so quick, bro. It was going to happen one way or another. I felt bad. I made it, though.
Yeah, bro. It's getting more dicey the older I get, dude.
Oh, yeah, you got to get that prostate checked.
Fuck. I'm not looking forward to that. Fuck. Oh, fuck you.
Oh, man. Well, I guess, I feel like we got a lot of stuff answered, which I liked because, like I told you for a long time, we've had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I feel like the questions we had are general questions that most people have in their head at one point, like, because none of us know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah. It was actually nice to be able to share the info, and it was fun too. I kind of liked how I've never done one of these before, so it's kind of fun how we started talking about traveling and different stuff, and ended up talking about shitting our pants. Like, it just goes full circle.
It went full circle all the way back down to the rawest form.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes on here. But you know what? This kind of hopefully did for a lot of other people too. But like after my only experience, if I was ever in an accident, I 100% I'm not. I would say I'm not fucking. I'm just gonna let the insurance handle it.
Yep.
If it happens, it happens. It don't. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to go. It left such a bad fucking taste.
Yeah.
In my mouth with that last experience. Like, you just assume everybody is like that. and then to actually get down and have the breakdown, how it goes, you know what I mean? Like, and now I have an idea. So, God forbid, something like that ever happens to me again.
I think that's fake though. Hit that one.
All right.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is too, though, to know that there's somebody out there to call, because again, us promoting RX2 Law, and other people promoting RX2 Law, people are just like, oh, blah, 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 right? So having you sit down with us to be able to ask questions too, and have more information out there for the people who are listening, I think is going to be a world of difference. It's all questions I've had for a long time, because I have no idea. You've had questions because you've been in the experience now, and it definitely pulled a lot of information out to help people if they are in an accident or need help now.
And now you guys know the information too. So if somebody asks you, hey, what should I do, aside from calling a lawyer, say, hey, make sure you get a police report. Make sure you go in for treatment. Go on Avo. Check out different lawyers. Even if it's, I hope you guys will refer me, but
of course.
But go on Avo. So if they say, hey, I'm talking to a guy from Law Tigers, I'm talking to a guy from Russ Brown, I'm talking to a guy from here, and those are marketing firms. If I'm talking to one of these guys, say, well, find out the attorney's name, look them up, and see what their reviews are, see what their ratings are, because you're going to be having to deal with this person for 12 to maybe 36 months. And if you are going to be dealing with someone that long, you want to be comfortable with them, and you want to know that you can reach out anytime, and they're not going to try to finesse or bully you in any way towards taking something that's not fair to you.
Well, and I think going into our relationship, when we sat down and discussed different opportunities like that, and learning the differences between some of these other organizations, the way they pick your lawyer or just farm things out to different lawyers to handle the people, where you're right here in front of us, we can talk to you whenever we want, and so can the client. I think, again, that makes a huge difference. Everybody, if you ride, or drive, it's something that you should keep, especially if you're riding, especially if you ride like how we ride. Safe as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but also often.
Often. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to, it's good to know that you have other options. You know what I mean? Like, too many times we see, on certain Facebook pages and stuff like that, that's just dedicated to motorcycle accidents, just to let you know, like, where it's at, check on your riders, I think California Motorcyclist Rider Down page, you see stuff like that. I'm just like, fuck, dude, like, hopefully they talk to somebody, you know what I mean? Because I've been through it, you know what I mean? And there's some hardcore people out there. It's like, I don't want to fucking do anything, but there you go. You see, and I'm not hating on those what are those fundraiser pages?
I don't know.
Not OfferUp. What's
GoFundMe?
Yeah, GoFundMes and stuff like that. I was like, dude, there's other options other than this. You just be on it. You know what I mean? Like, people should know when they ride, like how we ride, and it's a majority of, the followers, the listeners. We all ride the same, and you need to know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't know back then. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't doing anything hardcore.
You'd be balling right now if you knew,
bro. It's a bummer. It could change a lot of things. You know what I mean?
It definitely can.
You see a lot of people who are in these gnarly accidents who can't work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I understand where a GoFundMe would, be beneficial for them, or for whatever the case is. You know what I mean? But like, there's times where, like, somebody just pulled out in front of me, and I've got 2 broken legs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And dude, hit up Ramin RX too.
Yep, for sure. Well, Ramin, I just want to say thank you for taking the time coming out.
Yeah.
Definitely like to get you back on. Maybe we'll do one with you and Roji at the same time.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a fun
nice.
one.
That'd be nice to have Roji out.
Yep.
So we can get Brandon Quaid out here maybe for one of them too.
Yep, definitely.
He lives close by.
Yep, definitely.
Or we do that one in the nighttime so we can.
There we go. Yeah. Now we're talking.
There it is.
Now we're talking. I like where this is going already. We need to just set up live in like a restaurant or a bar. Just do it right there in the booth.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. All right, man. Well, how can people get a hold of you? What do they need to do? But they need to go on the App Store, download the RX2 Law app.
Download the RX2 app, and then the direct line is 800-500 for RX2. That's 4792.
Yep.
24/7. We're here, and I hope you guys never have to call us. But if you do, I hope you give us a shot to help you out, and we're always here.
What's the gram?
It's at RX2 Law.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is.
All right, go give them a follow. Make sure to check them out. If you're in need, get at them. Download the app anyways, just because, it doesn't take up much space and it's there.
Take care of yourself. Do that shit.
Yep. Boom. All right. Until
next
time.
Guys.
Yep, for sure.
That was good.